see the different types of data transmission. So under this, the first one what we are going to see is the simplex data transmission. So types of data transmission: simplex data transmission, duplex. Under duplex, we are going to see what is meant by a half duplex data transmission, what is meant by a full duplex data transmission. So now, first one is your simplex data transmission. Simplex data transmission and duplex data transmission. These two types of data transmission are the classification of transmission mode and data transfer. So this classification is based on the type of transmission mode and data transfer. What is meant by simplex data transmission? So simplex data transmission is nothing but there will be a sender. So the sender is called as a transmitter, and you have a receiver. So the from your transmitting end to the receiving end, the data will be transmitted. So it is the simplex. There is no, you cannot transmit the data from receiving end to your transmitting end. So it is called as your simplex data transmission. So simplex data transmission is nothing but a one-way communication technique where the data can be transmitted only from the sending end to your receiving end. But you cannot send the data from the receiving end to the transmitting end. That is why it is called as your one-way communication technique. It means only one client will be active at a time. Either a sender or a receiver will be active. For example, you can consider the radio and television. So in radio or television, in radio only the information will be transmitting. Being an audience, we will be in the same way in television also, whatever the television is telecasting, only that thing we can see. So we cannot communicate with the television or we cannot communicate with the radio. It is a one-way communication. At a time only one client will be active at a time, either a sender or a receiver. So it is a simplex communication. Next one is your duplex communication. Under duplex communication, the first subtitle is your half duplex. The diagram for half duplex is shown over here. So when you show here you have a transmitter. Okay, the transmitter is called as your sender and you have a receiver. So in between that there is a switch that represents the difference between the communication that is happening between your half duplex and full duplex. So in case of your duplex transmission system, the data can be transmitted as well as the data can be received. Like in contrast with your simplex transmission, such as with printers, in which the computer can only be transmitting your data. For one more example for your simplex transmission is printer. So when we are giving a print from your computer, the print will just take the printout, in which the computer only sends the data. So this duplex form of communication is just a contrast to your simplex communication. In duplex communication, you can either transmit the data or you can receive the data. This is not as in case of your simplex communication. Depending upon whether the data is transmitted simultaneously or not, it is subclassified as half duplex and full duplex. The diagram for half duplex is shown over here. So in this, if your data is transmitted only one way at a time, then it is referred to as data half duplex communication. So you can see here sender and receiver both are not active at a time. Only either a sender will be active while transmitting the data, or the receiver will be active or receiving the data. But data transmitted can be received and transmitted, but not at a simultaneous operation cannot be happen. So if the sender is transmitting the data, the receiver can accept but cannot resend. But the receiver cannot resend the data at a time. And for example, the example what we can use for this half duplex is internet. Suppose if a client laptop is sending a request for a web page, then the web server will process the application and send back the information. Meantime, the receiver should wait. So here you cannot communicate. Suppose if I want something, I will be sending the request to the server. The server will process it and then it will be sending back the information. That is why this is happening in case of your half duplex. Whereas in case of your full duplex, the diagram is shown over here. The diagram what we have shown comprises of your sender as well as your receiver. Okay, you have a sender as well as your receiver, and in this it is possible for us to transmit and receive the data simultaneously. Here both client as well as the server will be active, whereas in case of half duplex, either a client is active or the server is active. This happens in case of your half duplex, whereas in case of your full duplex, both of them will be active and it can transmit the data and receive the data simultaneously at a time. And you can say example of a smartphone as an example for this kind of full duplex communication. So if the data can go in both the ways, then it is called as your full duplex. But the full duplex, one thing is here the number of transmitting channel requires is 2. That is, when your sender is going to send the data, the sender will has to use one communication channel. So one communication channel will be used to send the data by the sender, and the other communication channel like has to be used by the receiver to send the data. Here the data communication happens in both the ways. So if you wanted to send the data simultaneously, then you have to prefer full duplex mode of transmission. But the only thing is it requires two-wire conductor. This is your one-wire conductor and this is another wire conductor. So it requires two-wire conductor in addition with a signal ground. Why the ground point is important in the sense, if you are not grounding the if you are not giving a proper grounding, then there may be a hissing noise or there may be a disturbance that occurs when you are transmitting the data from your transmitting end to your receiving end. So in addition with the two conductors, one more conductor should also be there for a proper grounding. Here one conductor is meant for data transmission and the other conductor is meant for data receiving. So it is the concept of your simplex transmission and duplex transmission. So under simplex transmission, you are going to have data communication in only one way, whereas in case of duplex communication, the data has to be transmitted and received in both the way. The next one is asynchronous serial communication and data framing. In the previous session, we have handled what is meant by an asynchronous serial communication. In this class, we are going to see what is the importance of data framing in case of your asynchronous serial communication. So as we all know that the data communicated from the transmitting end to the receiving end will be in the form of zeros and ones. So it is it won't be in the understandable form to the sender, and the receiver who receives the information is not possible to identify with zeros and ones what is the information that has been received. So we need to have a proper data framing where the sender and the receiver agree on certain rules and regulations of the protocols, how exactly the data has been packed and how many bits of data constitute a character, and when the data starts to transmit and when the data has been received. All these things has to be very clear, and when you are doing a communication either by means of your serial communication or async serial communication, and data framing is also important. So in this diagram you could see one stop bit. So stop bit is available. So in this you have one stop bit and you have another start bit. Asynchronous serial data communication, as it is widely used for character oriented data transfer. It can transmit 1 byte of data at a time, while the block oriented is preferred in case of your synchronous data transmission. So the start bit is always one bit, but stop bit it can be 1 or 2 bits. So you could see here one start bit. Always to transmit the data it is required to have only one start bit, whereas you can have 1 or 2 stop bits. The start bit as shown here, it always have one low value, that is 0. The pulse whatever shown over here is having 0, whereas the start bit is represented with high. For example, in the below character, if I wanted to transmit a ASCII character A, you consider I wanted to transmit an ASCII character A, then the 8-bit binary that stands for A is going to be 0100. The 8-bit character, consider I wanted to transmit the character A. So the ASCII value is A. For this, the binary value is going to be 01000001. This is going to be the binary bit for the ASCII character A. Now, if I wanted to transmit this particular data, I need to frame the data between the start bit and stop bit. You need to see that the LSB is sent first. So, it is the data. Here the LSB is going to be 1 and the MSB is going to be 0. So, when you frame the data, in case of your asynchronous mode of communication, you have to write the data in the form of D0 to D7, and you could see here the data gets transmitted. First your LSB, that is D0, will be transmitted first. In this, the D0 will get transmitted first as shown here, and between your start bit and stop bit, we are going to frame the data from LSB to MSB. Okay, so now when you wanted to transfer, as we discussed, the start bit is low and the stop bit is high. Where for A, to transmit the data A, the binary is going to be 0100 and 0001. So here, wherever you have 1, you have to give the clock pulse high. Wherever you have 0, you have to give the clock pulse low. According to that, the data framed is shown over here. It is 0, 1, 0 for all 000. So you are going to use pulse, low pulse, and you have 1 over here. It's going to be your high pulse. For framing this particular data, you have to use your start bit and stop bit, which is common for the identification of transmitting and receiving your data.